Hey guys, gonna jump right into it. This time I have some little napkins that I folded up to put under my cutting board just to keep it from running away from me. That last video gave me a lot of anxiety with that cutting board running away. Watching it, because I mean I cook like that and it doesn't bother me, but watching it on video, it gave me a lot of anxiety. So yeah, and that excess chicken, I like to save it. Usually I can make like chicken salads or something like that with the excess chicken. So you just see me put that in a Ziploc bag and I'll be storing that in the refrigerator to use, like I said, to make me like a chicken salad or something with the excess chicken. So it thins out that chicken breast a lot. Here is like my little egg wash. I'm not sure what the actual term is for this, but I've been making fried chicken for a long time and I've seen my grandma do this. I've seen it on other videos that I watch when people are cooking. So I just like to add 2 medium eggs, I believe. And that's about I have a cup of milk that I added, and that is 2% milk. And then I'm adding my Texas Pete hot sauce. You can add as much or as little of that as you want. It just depends on how you like your chicken. I like spicy food, so I did put a good little bit in there. But like I said, you can definitely put as much or as little as you want to put in there. You don't have to put as much as I put in there. I'm just got the wrist game going. You know what I'm saying? Woo. All right, here I have my flour. That's just a regular white flour. And I'm going to be adding my seasonings. I have some Slap Ya Mama. Again, as I've said in my other videos and as I'll say in this one, I do not measure my seasonings. I just eye it. I'm sure there's a term for that, or somebody said has some type of saying for that when you just kind of eye your seasonings, but that's what I do. That's a little bit of cayenne pepper. This chicken is like spicy Cajun chicken. That's what I was going for. Love some garlic, so of course I added my garlic powder in there. And then that is some ground pepper. And then I'll also just be adding some salt to this as well, just to make sure I do have my salt. Not a whole lot of salt in there. Oh, forgot about the Creole seasoning. Added some Creole in there as well, just to give it a little bit more of a twang, if you know what I mean. And there's that salt that I'm gonna add. Add a little bit of salt. And then I'm stirring that up with my fork, whipping that wrist, as I so often do. Child, I ain't got good sense. I'm just trying to get that mixed up as good as I can, just to make sure that is something everywhere, so that when I put my chicken in there, everything will be all good. I'm taking a little bit of oil and just putting that on my chicken, rubbing it into my chicken. I like for my seasonings to stick pretty good with that. I probably should have put some napkins under that little top that I was using to season my chicken too, because it is, I mean, this stuff just, maybe I'm a little rough, I'm not sure, but jeez, it's like running away, trying to get away from me. So I was struggling with this salt, and I literally washed my hands or washed my gloves to try to get some of the excess oil off, but for whatever reason, that pink Himalayan salt was acting like it didn't want to come out, honey. It was not trying to come out for you, girl. I'm not realizing how much or how many times I walked away. That was me rinsing off my hands or trying to get some of that excess salt off, or oil rather, off of my hands, so that I could get that salt out, because it was really being disrespectful. So that's my salt, and then this is my ground pepper on my chicken. And just to make sure that it had that Cajun taste, I didn't want the other seasonings to overpower. So I did add me a little bit more garlic powder to it because I really enjoy garlic, especially with Cajun flavors. To me, garlic and Cajun goes very well together. So I just wanted to make sure that my chicken had a very potent garlic and Cajun flavor. And Slap Your Mama seasoning is really like the best Cajun seasoning ever. Like, I don't know if it has been determined as Cajun seasoning or labeled as that, but it gives me a very strong Cajun taste. Like, that's what it tastes like to me. So I don't use regular Cajun seasoning. I just basically use Slap Your Mama as my Cajun seasoning. And I would have to go look at the container because I'm not sure if it says Cajun on there or not, or if I'm just making it up. So that's my oil again. Just gonna show you guys a little bit briefly how I like to put my chicken in my flour, and then I put it in the egg and milk mixture, and then I like to put it back in the flour. I like very crunchy chicken. As you can see, that flour got all over me. I'm just always rough with the food. I don't know. Needs to do better. So yeah, I made sure that was all over the chicken, and then I put the chicken back in the flour, and then I'm going to repeat that process because I like for my chicken to be super crunchy, very well coated, and just delicious. And that helps to pack on the flavor as well. Oh, that chicken was so delicious. I'm getting flour everywhere, but who cares? That chicken was delicious, okay? I'm telling you, try it like this. And then also doing it like this gets the flour a little bit wet. And what happens is you get like these little balls in the... That sounds crazy. Anyways, you get these little balls on the chicken, like these flour balls on the chicken. Hopefully you can see some. I'm going to add a little bit more flour to this side, but hopefully you can see like the little flour balls in the chicken. And what happens is that turns into like crunch on the chicken. Just like these extra crunchy pieces. Oh, delicious. Delicious. Okay. I'm just making sure that's covered and ready to go. You see those little flour balls? You see that? Oh, honey. What you know about it. So I'm just putting that in my flour, and I like to use my tongs to help me out on that. I'm always afraid that I'm gonna like submerge my hand in the grease, but I never do. I'm flipping that. I actually cooked it on both sides. It's thin because I cut it. So I cooked it on both sides for about 4 minutes, and it was perfect. I had my grease on like 6, which is like medium to high. Yeah. That garlic is getting a little low, so I had to throw it off in there. But I'm getting ready to make my ground beef. I did show you I had my lean ground beef. I believe it's 92% lean, 8% fat, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't add any oil or anything to the pan because ground beef does makes its own oil. Get it together. So I didn't feel the need to add any oil, but I'm just putting a little bit of black pepper, a little bit of garlic, salt, and some of that Slap Your Mama, because this is preparation for my homemade dirty rice, which was freaking delicious. Let me tell you something. That chicken was delicious, but that dirty rice came out so good. And I lost some footage. My freaking camera died, and I didn't even know. So I lost footage of me putting the ingredients into my dirty rice. So I'll make sure to have everything in the description box below so that you can know exactly what I did to that dirty rice. And I actually measured it. And I didn't measure the seasonings, but I measured the other ingredients for the recipe, and it was delicious. You have to try it. You have to try it, guys. So you see, I'm seasoning up that meat, like for that meat to have taste. And most people, once their beef is, once they've ground up their ground beef and it's brown completely, they like to go ahead and add, or they like to add their vegetables in when they are doing this, what I'm doing to the ground beef right now. But I personally don't like to do that. I'll show you. Well, I lost that footage, but I like to add it all at one time, and I just like to let it cook with the rice and everything, just cooking there together. Oh my goodness, it is so good. So right here, I was trying to do a little something, honey, and it didn't work out. But I didn't want to take out the vegetables. That was onion, green pepper, and celery. So I missed putting all of my freaking ingredients in there. And my rice, I used jasmine rice and chicken broth. I'm sorry, not chicken broth. Beef broth and my vegetables. Oh, it was so good. That is the meal. Added some bread. It was delicious. Whew, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.